Okay, the Fisher King, also known as the Wounded King. As the heroes enter Court Bannock Castle, or a castle, or ancient ruins, again, variations. Galahad or Percival, or again, whichever variant you want, stumble upon the king, and they have to ask a question. Sometimes they'll die if they don't if they ask the incorrect question. But it's to whom does this grail serve? And then I should backtrack here. There's a king in complete agony, and he's not allowed to die until somebody comes across and asks the perfect question. You'll see this in the quest for the Holy Grail, where there's that guy that doesn't die. When Galahad's question, he's allowed to die. Sometimes he doesn't die. But the Grail changes shape and all this kind of weird stuff. Now, along with the Grail is a lance dripping with blood, a severed head, a plate, various different things. There's various objects that accompany it. But the most important one is the lance that's dripping blood, the bleeding lance. This was the lance that wounded the Fisher King, either in his leg or in his groin. And he's apparently surviving, again, in some stories, on the host, communion wafer of the Catholic Church. It might have just been bread back at that time, but I don't think it was the flattened wafer at that point. And this is many saints in the West are said to just live off of that. Actually, many saints in the East are said to just sustain themselves off of taking the Eucharist. But he can't. He's basically incapable of moving, so he basically fishes out this window into gets these strange fish, some from the deep sea. That's why he's called the Fisher King, because that's what he eats. Again, another variant of how is he alive, but he's the protector of this, and he's in complete agony. And it's said that after Galahad, or insert name of whichever legend you've read, I said 47 surviving manuscripts of King Arthur and the Holy Grail, and the different variants of what happens. Originally, King Arthur had nothing to do with the Grail. I think the oldest one, Parsifal, is kind of like the famous people of this kind of dark age get clumped together as the Knights of the Round Table. Knights of the Round Table come much later. I don't think it's as late as Thomas Mallory's Mort d'Arthur. Usually that's the I don't want to say canonical version of it, but that's the one that usually everybody knows, or stories are derived from that, or the now known myth, accepted myth, is from Thomas Mallory's work. Well, anyways, the guy who gets the Grail, that asks the question, usually days or weeks or months or years later, this loathly lady comes by, and this is from the kind of the, I don't want to say the earliest stuff, but where we start to get a Grail legend, comes by and is pissed off at Galahad, or again, insert person's name, and says, well, why didn't you ask why the lance bleeds? Because it's, that's, basically not concerned for the Fisher King. So this lowly lady comes and just is pestering, well, why didn't you say why the lance bleeds, or this or that, It's assumed that she's related somehow to the Fisher King. So again, we're seeing massive change in the story. So that's the Fisher King, or the Wounded King. And going on to more stuff about the Grail. And you'll understand why I'm doing this thing on the Grail eventually. I'll show you why this is important, or at least why I'm doing it.